What's good, guys? Fantasy Joe back in our fantasy football profile. Today, we are talking Chicago Bears running back David Montgomery and his 2021 fantasy football outlook. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Just stop right now, and if you want to win your league, hit that button down below and check out a bunch of these videos I have on the channel. A bunch of fantasy profiles, a bunch of other content. Check it all out. Hit that like button, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. Let me know where you're taking David Montgomery in drafts. Let's hop right into it. So David Montgomery finishes the RB4 in 2020, coming off a great season, averaging 15.9 fantasy points per game in half-point PPR. One of the things I think that's worth pointing out about David Montgomery is that he had 68 targets in 2020 when we saw Tariq Cohen go down and they didn't really have another pass catching back. Now, I think David Montgomery is a good pass catcher. I liked his pass catching chops coming out of college. Thought he did a pretty solid job last season in the receiving game. I think he's definitely more than capable of being the third down back for this team. But do I believe that the team is really going to use him in that role? I'm a little bit skeptical because they have Damian Williams, who they've added, ex-Kansas City Chiefs running back, very talented in the passing game, and I expect them probably to, him to steal some third down work this year when we were basically seeing David Montgomery dominate the absolute lion's share of the work last season. So there should be a little bit more competition for David Montgomery this season. But honestly, though, if we look at his carries, his rookie year, excuse me, he had 242 carries. This last year, he had 247. Not a huge jump, but we saw him finish RB4, obviously, last year. The big jump came, though, he increased his yards per carry from 3.7 to 4.3. So he got a lot more efficient. And that was behind a bad offensive line. I think David Montgomery is better than people think. The Chiefs, or not the Chiefs, excuse me, the Bears have the 28th ranked offensive line heading into the season, according to Pro Football Focus. That does concern me. Now that we've talked about all the things that concern me about David Montgomery, let's talk about some of the good things. I think David Montgomery is playing with a better quarterback than Andy Dalton for the beginning of the season, and then Justin Fields will be much better than any quarterback they had last season. I think that'll help the offense greatly. So I think you could potentially see his touchdown numbers go up if he continues to get crazy volume. And, I don't think his touchdown numbers weren't crazy last year anyway. And we saw him go in that run at the end of the year. From week 11 on, he was the RB2, averaging 23.7 points per game, dominating those last 6 weeks of the season, winning a lot of people fantasy championships if they had him in the playoffs. And I think one of the things with Justin Fields that people don't realize, too, is Justin Fields is a mobile QB, and I think mobile quarterbacks and quarterbacks that bring that rushing element definitely help the running game. And I think that is something that, he hasn't really had in the past. Sure, Mitchell Trubisky wasn't exactly a statue, but he wasn't as athletic as Justin Fields, not even close. I think they'll get some read option stuff going. I think he could become a little bit more efficient this year if that offensive line and offense take some steps up, have more touchdown opportunities. I just don't think he'll get as much work in the passing game this year. I have him projected for 245 carries, 1,000-plus rushing yards, 35-plus receptions, 300-plus receiving yards, and 8 total touchdowns. I think he could easily, 10 to 12 if this Chiefs, or not Chiefs, I don't know why I keep saying Chiefs, if this Bears team takes any kind of leap on the offensive side, like I think they could. I think that's well within the range for him. And if he is continuing to use on third down a ton, he's going to be a great value in drafts. You can give him that third, fourth round. I think he's worth a third-round pick. I just don't know how much upside he has more than we saw last year, honestly. If you guys have made it to this point in the video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section down below. This is Fantasy Joe. See you guys.